Yeah, no, you guys don't have to break up. I just wanted to throw in. I've been listening for the last 10 minutes or so, highly intrigued. I was a political talk show host and news director at KFAR 660 AM in Fairbanks, Alaska, all the way up in Alaska back in the 1990s. And I left there in 99, and they were starting to go, a lower 48 company had bought them out, New Northwest Broadcasting, and our FM station, I worked on the AM side, our FM station, it was family-owned, had begun using focus groups in Seattle and telling all of our disc jockeys on the FM side that they had 4.5 minutes per hour. 4.5 minutes per hour to talk, and focus groups in Seattle dictated exactly what songs they would play. And we went from having a vault, and I mean a vault of vinyl and records and CDs, to 415 songs that we could play, and that was it. And it was programmed out of Seattle, and then on the political side, on my side, they cut my talk show down from 3 hours to 2 hours and went with a national program. And I got out of the business in 1999. I've not been on the radio since. But in talking with the friends of mine who are still in the business, they hate it. They absolutely hate it. It's a good paycheck. They're making a decent money. But they hate it because everything's dictated from focus groups, from corporate. And I heard one of you gentlemen say there's no creativity. And you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I would say broadcast radio, terrestrial broadcast radio, is in a sad state of affairs. So, anyway, I just wanted to chime in and let you know that I really enjoyed listening to you guys, and wanted to throw my 2 cents in. So, KC9VKPU, I'll be standing by again.
Roger, Roger. Come back slowly with your call sign phonetically and your name, please.
Yeah, name is David, and that call sign is Kilo Golf 5. Kilo Papa Uniform. Again, David, just outside of Dallas, Texas. Kilo Golf 5, Kilo Papa Uniform.
Roger, Roger. And gosh, what was the frequency of your station up there?
It was Fairbanks, Alaska. As we used to say, the heart of the Golden Heart City, 660 AM, KFAR.
Roger, Roger. Nice frequency. What was your power?
We were putting out 10,000 watts, but our broadcast tower was down by a river, and our radios, I don't know how we got permission to do this, but the radios for the tower went into the river. So we had 10,000 watts, but our range was about 500 miles up and down the Tanana River, over.
Oh, roger that, roger that. Nothing like good conductivity for ground system. The first radio station I worked at was a station, gosh, it was down in Florida. My hometown was West Palm, and this station was out in, Pahokee, Florida. I don't know if you know where that is, but it's just under the rim of Lake Okeechobee there on the southern rim, and that station, the transmitter was in a muck farm where they grew sugarcane, and so the ground radios were in muck, and the muck was always moist, and that station was only, I think it was a 250 watter, but it had a primary coverage area of something around 50 miles. It was just unbelievable.
Hey, what was your call sign? And it's funny, before I get your call sign, a friend of mine that I interned with at KBPS 1450 AM in Portland, Oregon, back when I was in high school, I interned at a station. He was in high school with me. He owns a production company and does voiceovers, and he's done some stuff for The Simpsons and Family Guy, and he's always looking for talent, voice talent. And I heard you talking, and I thought to myself, I'm going to get this guy's name and see if Tim can use him. And then I heard you saying that you used to be in radio. That kind of made me laugh. But what is your call sign? Because I copied the K and then I lost it after that. So if you could come back to me with your call sign, that'd be great.
Roger, Roger. Call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. KC9VKV. Name is Jim, and again we're located just across the river from Louisville, and we run a Qso-Vlog program between 3:30 and 5 Eastern on this frequency 7189, where we are recording air checks continuously from 3:30 till 5 Eastern, and then we post them up on YouTube, and folks that want to hear what their audio sounds like, I'll probably have this posted in the next couple of days. So they would go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that would take them to the Qso-Vlog page. And we have about 430 Qsos, but on page 1 or page 2, they would look for a session called My Group Air Check 12519. My Group Air Check 12519, today's date, and so then they would find it, and like I say, the initial one is an hour and a half, the full hour and a half, and then later on we do bust it up and take the better QSOs and upload them separately. Roger?
Okay, copy that. Hey, okay, that's fantastic. That will actually help me out, because I just discovered that my ICOM 7300, I had the mic gain at about 45, and I was getting fairly good reports, but I have an Ameritron 811H amplifier, and I was only getting on 40 meters about 450, 500 watts out of it. And so about 3 days ago, I thought, you know what, let me kick the mic gain up to 55% and see what happens. And now I'm driving the exact same output from the amp. I'm not overdriving the amp, but I'm getting about 550 watts out of it. So I increased my output on the amplifier by increasing the mic gain a little bit. So yeah, I would absolutely love to be able to hear an audio report to see if at the 55% mic gain, if I'm overdriving. I'd rather have a little bit less power, but have the modulation sound better. So the service that you're offering is fantastic. I really appreciate that. Over.
Roger, it was Dave, is that correct, David?
Yeah, that is correct, David. There's the handle here. David, just outside of Dallas.
Roger, David. Well, I guess I am the resident 7300 expert. The first thing, to be sure that you're running your radio in the widest possible format. Now, there's 2 or 3 places that they have these options, so you have to go through the whole thing to be sure you're in the widest frequent band, widest band that radio is capable of, like 29 on the top end to 100 on the bottom end. I think that's right. But you have to be sure. You have to go to the compressor and check to be sure that you're in wideband there. Then you have to go to the AOC and wideband there, and then into the EQ and wideband there. Otherwise, any one of those that's chosen at a lower value you will default to that lower value, which is, I think, the one bad aspect of the 7300 that I can think of. They should have had just one place where you choose the width of your radio, just one place, and once you do that, you're good. But I suggest on that 7300 running your compressor at about a 3, about a third of its capabilities, then running the AOC at mid-scale to 2/3 by adjusting your mic gain to where you're running mid-scale to 2/3 on that. And then depending on what mic you have, if you have the stock mic, maybe a couple of clicks on the top end is about all you need for that, just to be sure that you work across that mic, not into it. Roger?
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, I did spend, when I first got the radio, and I'll have to go back and verify, right now I'm using a Heil IC headset, Pro set that's designed for this radio. And I did spend about 30 minutes on the air with the gentleman. Thank goodness for him. He took the time. And I played around with all kinds of settings with compression. Compression is set at 3. And one thing I noticed that when I had an ICOM 7200, I would run my compression at about 60% and got fantastic audio reports. I initially set this radio up the same way. And holy cow, with the compression set at 6 or 7, it sounded terrible. So I backed it down, I backed the bass down, turned up the higher end a little bit higher than what I had previously, and then they had the mic gain at about 45, and I just, like I said, in the last couple of days, kicked it up to 55. But I spent about a half hour, 45 minutes with the guy on the radio, tweaking everything, and I don't know the numbers. I'll have to go back and take a look. But just the audio report that he was giving me, I kind of adjusted the radio accordingly, and then in the last 3 or 4 days, kicked it up from 45 to 55. So I'll have to maybe go back and take a look over.
Roger, David. Sounds like you might be just a tad warm on your ALC. You want to run that ALC. Your actual mic numbers, gain mic numbers, don't mean anything. What you want to do is adjust that mic level to your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. Once you have your compressor in at about 1/3 of its capabilities. So a compressor in to about 1/3 or 1/3 of its capabilities, and then adjust the mic gain until your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Copy that. And I do know on the 7200, and again, that's not the same radio, but on the 7200, when I overdrove the ALC, the audio actually, and maybe that radio was more forgiving, but I was driving that ALC right up to the red mark. There was no overmodulation. I got fantastic modulation reports. And again, that could be just simply a difference in the way the ALC meter was reading on the rig. I do know that the 7300 is a little more sensitive, and you've got more adjustments to make. And I'll definitely go back and take a look at that. And now that I'm driving 55%, I'll tell you what. On the next transmission, I'll back the mic gain down to 50 and see what it does. Over.
I wouldn't go by the numbers on the mic gain. Go to your ALC and look at your ALC meter, and you'll have a range on the ALC meter. So and so to so and so. Not necessarily full deflection on the meter, but the range will be clearly marked for the ALC reading. And what you want to do is be in the middle of that ALC. Adjust your mic gain to where you're in the middle or 2/3 of the ALC, and that way, that radio, you will be at about a 3 dB dynamic range, which will probably somewhere about a 75% average peak modulation. Roger.
Okay, Roger that. Yeah, I'm looking at the ALC now, and at 55%, I was pushing the ALC all the way up. Now that I'm back down to 45, it will occasionally touch the top end of the ALC, but in normal modulation, it's a little bit lower than that. I will say that on the amplifier output, it's about a 50-watt difference between 55 and 45. Over.
Roger. Now, what you want to do, like I say, is you'll have your best signal if you adjust your ALC for mid-scale and then turn up or down your RF output level to get out of the amp what you want to get. But you don't want to back your audio down, to get the right RF level. You want to run your radio with mid-scale ALC, mid-scale to 2/3, and then adjust your RF output till you're getting what you want out of your amp. Roger?
Roger that. You've given me some stuff to think about. So I'm going to go ahead and clear with you, and I'm going to find a frequency. I don't have a dummy load hooked up, so I'll have to torture the airwaves here. I'm going to go find a place where nobody's talking and see what I can do. I'm looking at the compression meter right now. And I don't know if that matters. It's bouncing right around 20, and then at peaks, it'll hit the top end, but it's averaging between 10 and 20. The ALC, however, is bouncing around from, like you said, about 2/3, but then it's also touching the top end of the ALC. So I'm going to go find a different frequency and play around and take your advice and see what I can do. So I definitely appreciate it there, Jim. And I'll clear with you, and there might be some other folks that want to jump back in here. So thank you very much for the advice, and I'm going to go find the clear frequency and play around here a little bit. KC5. One more thing is that I can turn the power down to 0. Now, when I think about it, the radio's not going to care about power out. Is that correct? I can turn the power down to 0 and set these settings. Would that be a fair statement?
Well, I wouldn't do that. I would just take your output to your RF output to where you know, your amp is looking good and you're getting out of the amp what you want to get out of it, and your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3, and your compressor is running about 1/3 of its possibilities. And you're working. If you're working the hand mic, work across it. Don't work into it. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, and I'm not using the hand mic. It's funny because I teach a class. A tech class, and that's one of the things that I give an example of, is that you do not talk directly into the mic, you talk across the mic. So, okay, I'm going to go find a frequency and play around and take your advice into account and see if I can improve the station here. I definitely appreciate it. It's one of the great things I like about ham radio, is you meet all kinds of people, and your life is usually, not always, but usually better for it. And my life's definitely better for this QSO. And I do appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. This is KG5KPU, and I'll be clear on your final.
Roger, Roger, David, 3Z away, sir. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday on this frequency, 7189, between 3:30 and 5, and we'll compare notes and see what's happening. We're getting ready to jump out of here. Maybe we have room for one more station that wants to try to check in. This is KC9VKV.